But it was rumored that for me at least, all these post-credit scenes were huge. They big. And they were cool. I liked it much better than the tail end of Multiverse of Madness. But we got we're here now, the mid and post credit scene, where my life came back to me when I found out that Zeus was not dead. I was so happy. I was like, thank God y'all fixed this, because I was going to be angry. I was going to go ham in this review. Like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? But we got your boy right here, Hercules, coming through, ready to kick some ass apparently. And yeah, we all heard of Zeus, we all heard of Hercules, but I don't know much of Hercules in Marvel. And so I forgot what order we was in, so my bad. Whoever want to jump in, man, what was y'all's thoughts when you saw Hercules pop up looking all swole with his hammer and weapon and all that good stuff?
I'll be honest, and again, I'm not too familiar with the MCU's iteration of Hercules. I've seen other films and shows depict the character, but obviously the MCU, Greek gods, North gods, they can do, as they please. But I freaked out more because I'm a Ted Lasso fan, so I'm like, yo, that's Roy. That's Roy. And I don't know if it was visual effects aid.
I know he was like that.
Exactly. I'm like, what is going on here? Like,
I've seen the actor in person. He don't come off as
in the show. I mean, he takes off his shirt. He's a soccer player. You've seen him shirtless in Ted Lasso, and he does not look like that in Ted Lasso. So whatever workout between Hugh Jackman, Chris Evans, or Chris Hemsworth might have gave him a couple lessons, but that moment to me, I freaked out more knowing that it was I think his name is Brent Goldstein, aka Roy Kent. That was the moment that I'm like, oh, that is awesome, because I love Ted Lasso. But then thinking of the ramifications, I mean, this is with his dad was telling him, rain hell on, let them know we're no one to joke with, which I think, I don't know if it makes up for the jokiness of Zeus, but the fact that he can be serious and like, let them know we're not,
bro. Yeah,
kind of helps it, I guess, a little bit. Yeah. But I'm very excited to see Thor versus Hercules and whoever other, battle royale we want to get there. I'm very excited for that. And because I know there was rumors for a couple years now, we're DC fans and Henry Cavill's being completely wasted. I know there was rumors that Henry Cavill can play the role, but I'm very excited for Brett, especially with Ted Lasso potentially wrapping up with season 3. So I'm here for it, man. I thought that was a very big reveal with huge ramifications for Thor, because Hercules ain't no punk.
Nice, man. Nice. When I saw it, it was only about 20 people in my screening, but this one dude cheered loud as he was like, yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. And I was like, okay, he's happy over there. And real quick, before I come to you, Eman, when you were talking about how he was like, yeah, go wreck shop and show them who we are. I love the way Zeus said it. He said it with such confidence. Yeah, like, we are going to go whoop their ass. It is only a matter of time. And the way he said it, bro, let me put the mic back. He was laid back, just chilling, like dusting off his shoulders. Like, okay, you got a little lucky, you got a little cheap shot, you know what I'm saying? A little sucker punch. But no, yeah, you're going to know who we are and what we're about. And it is going down. I'm not even going to do it myself. I'm going to send my son to go whoop your ass. Because if I do it, like seriously, your great grandchildren are going to feel it. So that right there was dope as hell. Kind of like you were just saying, Elliot, they're showing more of the serious side of Zeus, and that he is all powerful. So yeah, I that part was dope. Eman, how'd you feel about all that, man? That post
this is the Zeus we should have gotten.
Yeah.
This is why I was saying it was so unnecessary to have him frolicking around and talking all weird and stuff. He never had to do that. The movie's already funny. You don't need to make him more comedic and more eccentric like that. So I absolutely love that version of Zeus, because he was like, you know what? They done forgot our names. They done forgot how we roll. They forgot we control. We run this.
Yeah.
Make them remember. I was sitting there like, okay, Jesus. Yeah. That's Jesus right there.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah,
so he pulled it out and was like, yo, go handle my light deity weight. So I'm like, that was great. I was very, very happy about that. Now the thing with Hercules, in the comics, it was a fun little thing. Hercules versus Thor. Again, these gods, even like in mythology, they kind of mirrored each other. Zeus to Odin, Thor to Hercules, so like, of course, in the comics, they would fight. I won't spoil like what happens, but they do go head to head. And it's like, a pretty good battle. It's a pretty good battle between the two of them. I mean, I guess fun little, fun tidbit. Now, I don't know where Marvel's going to go with this. I have an inclination. I would not be surprised just because Marvel likes to check certain boxes off. But one version of Hercules was LGBTQ, and it was him and Wolverine at that, by the way. And then you also have another version of him that got played. He was one of She-Hulk's, let's say, body count. She added him to the body count and just left my man in the middle of the street. Like just draws and all. And he was like, is she gonna call me? Like, so there's potential there. There is potential. I mean, think about it. Like She-Hulk swole and he's swole and maybe. But yeah, and I don't know. I don't have high hopes for Hercules. I think that he will come in as a potential villain. Eventually, they're gonna still play him up on some goofy comedic stuff. Eventually, him and Thor become best buds, and they frolic off somewhere else in space. That's my thought. I'm not basing that on no comics. I'm just saying the way the MCU is going, I don't take Hercules as a legitimate threat. I think he's gonna start off that way, but later on down the line, he might even be Thor's replacement.
You said, well, who's not going to be a threat at first?
I think he'll be like a threat initially, but he ain't going to Hercules.
Okay.
But he ain't about to be like some big old like, oh my gosh, what we gonna do? Hercules is in town. I think he's eventually going to be a Thor replacement for the new Avengers and all of them. Like he'll just be the strong god on their side.
I got you. I got the end credits scene. You got your boy back. I'm pretty sure he was happy when he got that call. Like, oh, I thought I was dead. But you want to have me in Valhalla. And Jane is there too, and so they're gonna be kicking it and doing all that thing. Eman, what you think about that end post credit scene with Heimdall and Jane?
I absolutely loved it because spoiler alert, I think that this is an absolute setup to bring Jane back. It is if I'm not mistaken, part of Norse mythology that the gods, part of Ragnarok is the fact that it's a cycle. Like it happens over and over and over again. The gods live, Ragnarok happens, everything is destroyed, they're all dead, but then they get reincarnated and they come back and then they just do it all over again. So the moment Jane became mighty Thor and she became basically godlike, that's why she turned to dust rather than just dying as a human. And they kind of alluded to this and foreshadowed this, saying like, hey, but you'll go to Valhalla because now you're an Asgardian. So you'll go to that special place now. And if you notice, right when Heimdall met her, he was like, you can stay here if you like.
Yeah.
Like it was optional. So I would not be surprised if she's like, oh, this is great, but I want to go back. And she comes back, she gets the hammer again, and she's cool. I would not be surprised if that's what they do.
Okay. And Elliot, of course, I'm coming to you, but I want to also throw a question in there. How did you feel about the post-credit scene, Heimdall, Jane popping up, and also with characters dying, and one in the same movie and coming back in the same movie? Yeah, and then Heimdall dying in Infinity War, and now we see him again. Like, are the deaths in the MCU meaningless if people just keep popping back? Let us know how you feel.
I mean, that's a topic of discussion for many years. Besides comic book movies, action movies, sci-fi movies, horror movies. I think I've come to the realization that if you put it in a vacuum, how did it make you feel when you saw it for the first time, right? Obviously, in life, you experience something and you see it in hindsight, it changes everything in perspective. But did it hit when it happened? And it did for me. Seeing him, even though he wasn't used properly, I felt it for Thor, and obviously the relationship that they spoke on and what we saw in the 3 films prior to that, I felt the moment. So, and again, to your point, it happens a lot in the MCU. It happens in Thor. I mean, literally all the time. Loki comes, which I was genuinely shocked that Loki didn't appear in this film. I know they said it a year or two ago. Tom Hiddleston was like, no, I'm not going to be in the next Thor. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see. He wasn't in it, which is obviously the first time that he wasn't involved in the Thor story at all, besides the tattoo or whatever. But Yeah, man. As far as Valhalla goes, yeah, I think Eman hit the nail on the head. We will probably, I don't know if we'll see her again in a Thor 5 or the next time we see Thor, she's involved, but at least they have that card to play if all hell breaks loose and we need all the extra, another Avengers 5 threat level, then she can come back. So I was fine with the post-credit scene. And I think Natalie Portman, the way she left the character, allows her to maybe feel more confident in coming back if she wants to do that. Now, I don't know, again, if she wants to, she did her thing as far as bulking up. I don't know if she wants to continue to do that, but if, I would welcome her back. And again, as far as the taking away and killing and taking away, I think it's just, again, if it worked within that movie, and then next time we see him, we'll see how if it was worth it, if it has a payoff. So I'm okay with it.
Right on. And I was thinking about Loki earlier, but now that I think about it even more, because I was thinking about what you said, like, yeah, he's not even in the movie, but
at all.
Shouldn't he be in Valhalla? He's a god, and he died in battle. He should be there, right?
Did he die in battle?
Thanos choked him out.
What was the battle?
You say what's the battle? Yeah,
I got you.
Just died.
Yeah, he got murked. I mean,
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I don't know if he landed a punch.
I guess Odin has a different because he didn't. He didn't die in battle, right? Huh? Well, Odin didn't die in battle.
No, yeah,
he didn't. He just died of old age, I think.
Yeah. So,
but Heimdall and Loki both died at the hands of Thanos in the same ship. Yeah. So I don't know. Y'all let us know what you think.
I mean, look, the afterlife in Marvel all just depends on whatever that character believes.
Yeah,
that's all. So if you believe in heaven and hell, you gonna go to heaven and hell. If you believe in Jesus, Valhalla or hell, you will go to one or the other. There's a good possibility that Loki is in hell. HEL.
True.
Like the other one. So
man, I forgot all about that. We got hell and death and all that. Also, I forgot to mention Lady Sith was in this movie too. Shout out Lady Sith. Real quick, before actually, we know we're gonna get a Thor 5. Are we going to see this character?
Thor 5? You think it'll be a 4?
I'm confident because we got to get this character right here, Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
I am glad that Beta Ray Bill did not pop up in this because it would have been too much.
A little bit too much.
This is a character that I do like. It was he from Planet Corbin or Corbinite or something. I forgot the name, but when we're gonna get Beta Ray Bill, y'all, I think this is from Earth Mightiest Heroes right here on Disney Plus. But he takes control of Stormbreaker. So when he comes, I think that Thor is gonna get Mjolnir back and Beta Ray Bill is going to get a Stormbreaker, but y'all got any anticipation for this character right here?
I mean, they introduced or alluded to him in Ragnarok, and honestly, I thought one of the post-credit scenes was going to lead to Beta Ray Bill. If I'm being honest with you, just kind of set that stage. But yeah, I'll again, if we are to assume we're getting the Thor 5 in a couple of years, because he is the only out of the train to get their 4th film, so I guess why the hell not? Why not get a 5th film? But yeah, I look forward to him if they introduce him come Thor 5. And I guess the big question is does Taika come back? Or do you guys want Taika back? Or do you want someone else to take the reins and maybe give it a little bit different interpretation?
I don't mind him coming back. If he does, I just want a little bit more seriousness, in the film. Eman, how you feeling about it?
I'm good. I don't need him back.
Here's
the thing. 2 conditions. 1, bring him back as an executive producer. I'm okay with that because as an executive producer, you can still kind of sort of guide the director that you bring in and still leave a little element of whatever works for you. So, for example, Zack Snyder was an executive producer of Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman. He didn't direct it, but you could see little elements of Zack Snyder in that, right? So I'd be cool if they wanted to do that. Or if they do bring Taika back, you cannot let him go full Taika. Like, bring him back, just reel him back. The MCU, I'm serious, like it really does not need Marvel fun all the time.
True.
It really doesn't. It needs to just focus on the story. And if you sprinkle some comedy in there here or there, that's fine. But Taika just going all out and all that, I'm just saying it's not necessary. Same way that DC didn't need to be super, super dark with no like levity at all. Like, we don't need these extremes. It's okay to just tell the story and add these elements here or there. Small doses is fine. It really is.
Okay. Yeah, man. I hear you. You got any Beta Ray Bill thoughts?
No.
No.
They
Oh
just, I
man.
mean, like Kevin Feige had said, the reason why they didn't put him in Ragnarok was they wanted that character to have some real time to breathe,
Yeah.
right? So, in a sense, I think you would have had to make a decision. Do you want this to be a Thor and Jane story or a Thor and Beta Ray Bill story? Because I think that's the amount of screen time you would have had to like had, because he's gonna have to have the amount of screen time that Jane had. He has
Right.
to be kind of like a co-star. To be
Right.
honest with you, I'd be cool if he was just Disney Plus series, because I don't think he's
Okay.
as big of a character for the movies that people will care about. I think as a
Okay.
Disney Plus series, people can grow to like him, and then he could come in later on and be featured.
How much faith do y'all have in Phase 5? You know, recently coming out where Kevin Feige is going to reveal some big announcement at Comic-Con, maybe D23 later this year. I was very hopeful, but Eman crushed my soul, I think, day before yesterday with this news right here of this maniac getting an
Thanos
extension.
is back.
Jesus Christ, what are they
Got like
thinking?
another 3 years too.
Another 3 years. I got this report from Hollywood, the reporter. We're not gonna go over the whole thing. We've been here long enough, but Shea Peck is gonna be over the all of this in the next 3 years. I forgot, it's not Ann Sarnoff. He does have another boss that came out last year, which was kind of weird. Some that's actually on the board. But y'all have faith in Phase 5, or you a bit nervous?
In the sense of Bob being involved, calling shots, or-
Everything, just Bob, and just in general, like what we seen, Love and Thunder now.
yeah.
We got Black Panther left, Ant-Man, and the Thunderbolts, but I don't know really space random arbitrary dates that really don't mean anything in a sense, but I could be wrong. But y'all got any feelings on that or anything?
Look, man, I regard so Phase 4, I will admit, has been not as well handled, or the position of certain things and characters and stories and all this stuff hasn't been as great as the previous phase. But I'm still in high hopes that we've talked about this several times. We barely scratched the surface in the MCU as far as what these next big groups of Fantastic Four and X-Men and what comes, the package that comes with that. It's kind of it's almost intimidating just knowing that potentially is the next phase, if we're diving into that. So I'm hopeful, man. I'm not going to let this phase, a couple films here and there, spoil my or temper my excitement, because phase 3 had so many hits, and phase 2 has its great moments, and of course phase 1. So I'm still very excited for what Kevin Feige and the creators have for phase 5, and whatever the announcement is come later this month or in a couple weeks. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Okay, and I respect it as well. You saying that you're not gonna let a few films just ruin your whole birthday party. So that's cool. Eman, you got any high hopes? Are you chilling? You riding away?
No, I do have high hopes for Phase 5 because Phase 4 ends with Fantastic Four, and Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to be our formal introduction to Kang the Conqueror. You also have Secret Invasion that is going to be one of the final Disney Plus shows at the end of Phase 4. Kevin Feige was basically saying that, like, hey, by the end of the next couple of months, everybody's going to start seeing where we're actually going.
Yeah.
I've tried to tell people, listen, I think a lot of people agree Phase 4 has been very average. It's been very mid. It has not hit the highs that we're used to hitting. But at the same time, we have to start all over again, because after coming off of historic, unprecedented Infinity War and Endgame, we ain't never, out of every movie property, we ain't never had 20 plus something movies build up to a 2-part conclusion on that magnitude, which are sitting at still like one of the top box office movies of all time. So we've never had that level of a high before, and with every high, you gotta come down. And we're in the come down period. And I want to remind people that this come down period, this is the point in time when Marvel didn't have all their best players. This is before the Fox acquisition. They had, because Marvel plans 5 years in advance, 5, maybe 10 years. But like while they were planning those 5 years, we're finally catching up. We're almost at the end of their 5-year plan from back in 2018, 2016.
17,
and that's before they got the X-Men, the mutants, Fantastic Four, all the rights to the characters and so on. So now that they have all that, we're going to start seeing glimpses of what they're planning for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, yo, this phase right now, and it's not an excuse. I'm not, because there's no excuse for some of these movies to not pop, and I'd say this, if it wasn't for No Way Home and the big cameos and stuff, I don't know if there were like anything that like was a home run. We had some good movies, but there weren't like home runs.
True.
But phase 5, yo, you got mutants coming through, you got Galactus probably coming through. You definitely, I'm gonna say right now, Dr. Doom is gonna come through.
Howard Stern's Dr. Doom.
Listen, I wouldn't say all that, but I'm just saying you got all the pieces, especially with Secret Wars. That's gonna be another $2 billion movie in itself. You have all these things with the incursions and all that stuff that are going to be set up now in phase 4, but they will play out in phase 5.
Right.
And I'll just give one last warning. If Marvel drops the ball in phase 5, that's a problem. If y'all can't do better than what Fox did with the X-Men, if y'all can't do better than what they was doing with Fantastic Four, throw the whole franchise away. Y'all just not gonna come back.
Bob Chapek, don't F it up, man. Don't F it up. And I was gonna say, man, basically it's going down is what you was about to say. And if you look at phase 1, it was great, it was fantastic, introduction, everything. Phase 2, Pearl Motor had to come and crap everywhere. It wasn't as good. Kevin Feige got more control. Alan Horn, Bob Iger, not Chapek, Bob Iger, my fault. It was better. And then as soon as Bob Iger leaves and we had this pandemic, phase 4 goes back down. So it's been up, down, up, down. So phase 5, hopefully we can go back up and Chapek can get some sense and actually listen to the most popular actress in the world instead of ignoring her. I think we'll be pretty good. Gentlemen, what did I leave at? What did we not talk about that we should have talked about? Anything?
You guys, I guess the only thing box office. I had a conversation with some people online, and just some people think it could do the billion, considering that Doctor Strange did 947. Do we think Thor Ragnarok, word of mouth, fun time at the theater? Does it crack that billion? Does it make the second to a billion?
Yes.
I'm gonna say no.
What?
So less than Doctor Strange, Eman, or
I think it'll be less than
numbers.
I mean, listen, the reason why Doctor Strange was so like even getting close to what it hit box office was because people wanted to see the cameos. Right. The reason why it didn't go beyond that is because you can't build a movie off cameos. Like you need more substance, and Doctor Strange kind of lacked that. So I think Doctor Strange had way more hype going into it. People were way more excited because everybody thought that the X-Men was going to come through the door. They thought the Fantastic Four, they thought everybody and their mama, Deadpool, everybody was going to show up. And, like when that didn't happen, I think the fizzle kind of faded. But, think about it. The box office tickets were selling out like crazy. They were breaking records for Doctor Strange. I don't even think people cared if Thor came out, like when the tickets went on sale. So I'm not putting it on the $1 billion radar. I think people will have a good time with it for sure. I would say, because I don't know opening week. I don't follow all that. I kind of look more so at the total. I think it'll be around 700 million.
Ooh, so less than Ragnarok. Then,
I can understand you saying that because you didn't like you like Ragnarok more than this. Eman, what did you like more? I just say
that because Ragnarok had repeat value. I don't know if this has repeat value. I don't know if people are going to be like, I love this so much. Let me go back and rewatch it.
Which one did you like?
Like people going to watch it. It's going to make a good amount of money. But to get to that $8-9 billion mark, that's people going back twice to go see it.
Man, I'm gonna push back, bro.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. My anticipation was higher for Multiverse of Madness than Thor: Love and Thunder. But however, after Multiverse of Madness came out, I just sensed the energy from the interwebs, and I could be wrong. I could just be my echo chamber. That people are anticipating Love and Thunder a lot. So, but let me ask you this real quick. What did you like more? Put a gun in your head. You got to pick one. Love and Thunder or Multiverse of Madness? Which one you like more? I'm gonna go Love and Thunder.
I'm gonna probably go Doctor Strange because I prefer horror over comedy, and I thought the horror elements played better in that than because that was the two vocal points of those films as far as tonally. So I thought tonally that played better into the horror fan that I am versus the comedy. I didn't find it to be hitting those highs as the horror did in Doctor Strange.
I respect that. Eman?
I'll agree with Elliot. I mean, for a slightly different reason. I think that because they had two different jobs to do. Clearly, Thor had the job of trying to be comedic, and Doctor Strange 2 had the job of trying to be a horror. I think Doctor Strange 2 did a better job of accomplishing that goal rather than Thor. I mean, look, I went to two different screenings, right? And there were two completely different reactions from that because I wasn't looking just for me. I wanted to see how do people respond. I wanted to see like, okay, in that first screening, it was the hardcore people, and they were laughing at literally everything. They were cheering at every moment, and it was, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, I could see why a lot of people that were coming out of that first screening at the premiere were like, this clearly was the best movie ever. This clearly was the best Marvel movie because listen to the crowds.
A lot of them.
My other screening, it wasn't as loud. And even just kind of hearing the rumblings. Now, granted, it was the press screening. So, sometimes press are a little bit more critical. But some people were kind of like, I'm mixed. I like it, but, and that was kind of the feeling. That's why I'm like, if that initial feeling from the hardcores doesn't pass down on both sides, I don't see it having the legs later on. So that's why I don't really think, and because comedy is subjective, that's why I wanted to see how does it work for different audiences. Because if something's really, really funny, you're gonna get at least a constant set of laughs, from people, and that didn't happen in my experience. So I'd go Doctor Strange 2.
Okay, I got you. I'm Love and Thunder still. And just to wrap it up, guys, we have been here for over 2 hours. This
longer
is
than the film?
Yeah, longer. Man, hold up, longer than the film. You know what I'm saying? I think Eman, our Snyder cut were spoilers that we did last year.
Wasn't it like 4 hours?
Not the review, but the movie. The review was like 2 hours.
Not the review was like 4
hours.
Nah,
he's trolling. But overall, I enjoyed this film. I had a lot of fun with it. I've only seen it once, and so I will be able to determine if it really does have that rewatchability factor that second time. I'll probably see it next. I don't know when I'll see it a second time, but I definitely liked it better than the first Thor movie, better than the second one. And I think at this point I can say I even liked it more than Ragnarok because I was just really disappointed in Ragnarok with the Hulk and also the Hulk and Surtur thing and how him fighting the wolf on the bridge. They didn't fight; they ran and tackled each other and fell in some water. That really bothered me, and I was not disappointed like that walking out of Love and Thunder like I was walking out of Ragnarok. And I still think I'll pick this film over Multiverse of Madness. I gotta watch it again, and if I had to rate it out of a 1 out of 10, I think I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10. And I'm gonna leave it there. Eman, you got no final words, wrap it up, rating, anything like that?
I mean, I still got Ragnarok over it. Like I said, I just thought it was a little more heavy-handed with the comedy. I think that when it comes to villains are the things that push the movies over the hump in terms of being epic and memorable. I think Gore is going to be forgettable, and that's sad for an actor of Christian Bale's, talent and potential. I think the movie did not do him favors. I'm not saying he was a terrible actor. I'm just saying I don't think that the script built him up to be one of those memorable villains somewhere down the line. I hope we do get more Jane in the future. I loved her. Would love to see more of her in the future. I think this is Chris Hemsworth. He better stick to this because this
he said it already. Yeah, I'll come back as long as they want me to.
My man was suffering in the first Thor, and the second Thor was forgettable too. So He's found his comedic stride. Although I will say, I would not be opposed to finally seeing a Thor grow up. I would not be opposed to that.
He's got a kid now. He might have to.
I'm just saying, like, given all the trauma he's been through, kind of like, yo, like at some point, when do you just grow up? Like at what point, you know, because you've had life-changing events that should push you more towards Rune King Thor. And my comic fans know who that is. So, you know, overall, I mean, the movie's cool. You could definitely have fun with it, have some laughs with it. I know I was very critical about it, but that did not mean that I hated the movie whatsoever. And for some of the people that are probably going to say it, no, I don't have a problem with comedy. I just have the problem with the amounts of comedy at times. So I want to make that very clear. If you've been on my channel, you know I joke a lot. So I'm very, very open to comedy. But again, I understand it's subjective. So I don't really have a rating because I haven't honestly put my review together. But if I had to just ballpark, I say it's a 7 out of 10.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Elliot, wrap it up, man. Wrap it up.
Yeah, fun time for sure. I've lived with Ragnarok a little bit longer. I've come to really like it, for a while. Ragnarok was, I'll be honest, was top 10 for me for a very long time. Because I found it very refreshing. Because opposite of Brandon in regards to, I came in with Ragnarok with so low expectations because of Dark World. I was like, they can whatever. So I came out very pleasantly surprised and was happy by that. So that's kind of where Ragnarok was. I do think it's a better film. Narratively, Hela, I think, was to Eman's point about Gore, like she didn't need to, this was just who she was. She was born to hate for death. So I felt that Kate, and again, he's if he does come back with 5, like who's he going to have next? Denzel and Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep. Like he he pulls these high caliber actors to do these comic book roles. So we'll see. But neither here nor there, I do have Ragnarok over this, but that doesn't take anything away from what this film. I think, you know, sometimes rankings doesn't mean that it's just so superior, but I think for what Ragnarok was going for, accomplished it better than what Love and Thunder did, but it doesn't take anything away from Love and Thunder. So I'm having fun with this character, man. To Eman's point, I do want to see him mature, and I think with him now having this daughter of his sorts, adopted daughter, will require him to age up and require him to be, a father that hopefully live. Man, we don't kill off another father here.
He's not black. He'll be fine.
I think we will see him age up because it's going to require him to be a father figure to that young girl that has a huge amount of powers, and you don't want to mess that up. So excited to see more from the character. Again, you would ask me 10 years ago, out of the trilogy, out of the Trinity, who was going to get a 4th film, it would have been Cap all day. But surprisingly so, Thor is still here. Chris Hemsworth, unlike Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, and no disrespect to them, they're like, you know what, I did my time with those characters, and you know, they want to move on. I saw Chris the other day said, if they want me back, I will play this role as long as I can because it built my career. So it's always kind of fun to hear that from an actor because you hear those other actors saying, I'm done with that. I'm at a different point, which again, respect that. But I want more of Thor, Chris Hemsworth, and I'm excited to see what they do with him next.
Nice. I appreciate that. And guys, just real quick, if you're watching in the chat, let us know in the comments. Will Thor Love and Thunder make more than Doctor Strange 1 at 677? Will it make more than Ragnarok at 853? Or even will it pass Multiverse of Madness at 950 worldwide when your man Bob Chapek wanted to pull it from theaters while it's still making money? You idiot.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, you idiot. But I think it's going to... I don't know. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 900 million. I'm gonna just start it out there. But before, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, was it 958, right? With that,
950.
I'm gonna put
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Love and Thunder at 980, and the reason I'm giving a little bit higher than that because Doctor Strange had to go against Maverick, and Maverick obviously took a lot of that box office money for them. So I don't think Thor has the biggest competition next month.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
And again, this would have made $1 billion, but it was not released in Russia or China. So we got to take that into consideration too. There are no LGBT.
Oh, that's a good factor. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and there was no LGBTQ in this movie. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is that's the reason why it did not play in China. They banned it for that. Or it could have been like they passed their limits. So we'll have to see.